16 years of school/college knowledge in 20 minutes. I've been 16 years in the educational system, learning and studying in the educational system and learning how I learn and every aspect about it, on how to actually maintain college and have a good life, and at the same time how to stay in college and what are the tricks that I can even better my existence as college. And at the same time, I promise that you will do the same. You will be able to stay in college, do whatever you want, and actually get better at it. The way that I'm going to do it, tell you the story, give you the lesson, and then I'm going to add secrets of mine. So, it all started obviously when I was young, and it will all make sense in a second. I was young, I got to primary school, then elementary school. When I was in the elementary school, so all the 6 years, I was literally just being there, existing, and that was alone enough for me to actually pass to next grade. At the same time, I was watching a lot of education outside of there. So I was watching a lot of National Geographic, learning about all the general knowledge, which I think at a very fundamental stage helped me a lot later on, and it will all make sense in a second. After that, when I got to middle school, that's when I actually got and knew the secrets. So everybody was in my middle school. They were getting the lessons, they were learning the lessons, revising, and actually preparing for the exam, passing, and the cycle repeats. For me, I was more of a creative, to say the least. So I realized that, there's a lot of homework that teachers give us. And based on that homework, they know who are you. They literally rate you based on that homework. So I realized that if I just get that homework and type it on Google or on YouTube, I will literally get all of the information. And if there is a text that I have to summarize, that usually it's the same text used for tens of years, I just Google it literally, the resume of the text XYZ, and I have it so beautifully. And there is sites that literally answers all of the questions in the books. So I don't have to make them, I just have to copy paste. And I was doing that in my best classes. So it's not only the worst, I was doing it in the best of my classes. And the worst, I was going and attending lessons in that. So there's mathematics. Instead of just trying to learn it from the teacher or having additional classes like everyone did, I was going to YouTube and watch them. At the time, for context, not everyone did that. So that also gave me an advantage in the 3 years in middle school, and later on in high school, that also the same thing happened. So I didn't change anything. I was doing the same formula. In fact, I got the first in my class at the hardest national exam in the first 12 years, and I did that only by watching videos explaining the knowledge that I have to pass in. So all of the mathematics, all of the physics, all of the languages, everyone was literally spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Some of them even more than probably gets to thousands of dollars in the years, especially in high school, to pass that exam. I did nothing. I was doing a lot of stuff. I was doing YouTube. I was doing training. I was making e-commerce, selling, doing stuff like that. And also studying, and I still managed to become first. And I realized that it all comes down to these few principles. So if there's one thing that I learned from trying different strategies in school or college, is this. You have to use the latest knowledge or tools or abilities or technologies, just to make it clear. It's like when you use the latest of technology, you will literally have the upper hand. Teachers don't have the time to be up to date with every technology that's out there, to be adapted. So what you want is always be ahead of the curve. So when people they have the knowledge now to use what you want, you've already done that about a few years ago, and you are in this next hit. That will not only make you up to date with technologies, but will actually make your results better, because simply you have an unfair advantage. Everyone is taking the traditional road, or really the simple road that doesn't require technology and getting the skills, but you take the hard road that will give you more return on investment. I'm going to give you an example. So when I was in middle school, I had this text that was very important. We were always making the same questions. So it's like you have to give the resume or summary of the text. Then you have to answer what's the context of the text, what's the history of the text, who's the writer, give knowledge about the writer, etc. Some of them were actually difficult. It's like we didn't even study that. How can I answer? The way that I did it versus the way that people did it, I'm going to start with people. People got the text and they read it like 6 times, then they wrote down some bullshit stuff, and they're like, well, I just finished it, now it's awesome and I have to show off to my teacher. That's what I used to do at the beginning, until I found out that whenever I do it, I get criticized by my teacher. I literally get criticized by my teacher just because I am participating with my work. I'm literally putting effort, energy, and knowledge to answer these questions, and the teacher now is just roasting me. And I realized that if I'm gonna use something into my advantage, it will be technology. So I go to Google, get that text, put in the questions, and I found all of them. So I'm like, okay, now that makes sense. And then when I started doing that, I noticed that teachers loved when I answer. Although some people, you find 1 or 2 in the class that did the same strategy, but still, you always have the upper advantage. At least you will not get that bad impression from the teacher, especially in middle school, that was all it. Now let's say make that comparison with now. Now we have also like more complicated knowledge, more diversified tools. I just met the other guy, this guy from my college, just about 1 week ago. We had an exam and he said, you know, how did I pass this exam? I was like, okay, just tell me. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Tell me how. What's the secret? He said, I just got the lesson, put the PowerPoint presentations, put them in an AI. He gave me all of the sticky notes or like the notes, and he asked me, and I revised by doing that. I said, good for you. I really didn't do that, and the way that I did it was just revise half an hour before the exam. That was enough. But sure, that's an awesome strategy. And here what I'm speaking of is not about the strategy he used, but like the strategy is not the specific thing he did, but really just being up to date, using technology in your favor, and being smart with working hard, obviously. So I'm gonna give you here a wrap up. It's like if there is chance that you have to use technology, use it any day of the week. Now that we have AI, we have all of the websites, we have all of this stuff. Now if you're studying in an English class, literally AI can summarize the lecture, understand it, give you notes. Google at the same time is making that thing. You probably have seen it. He has AI, you put in the video, gives you all the context, give you all the key points, give you all the questions, and you can get exams and tests and pre-tests just by using that AI alone. And the thing is, I pretty much do believe that teachers will start using this very soon. They will just put in, and instead of just thinking about the questions, they will actually, because don't think about it only from your perspective. Think about it from their perspective too. Teachers are also will be happy should not spend a lot of time to just write down the questions for an exam. They'll put it to AI will give it to them, we're good. But the thing is, not everyone is doing that, whatever. Teachers sometimes are outdated, they're just like comfortable. It's like they have a job, they will stay there, they have a fixed salary, whatever. It's like no competition. Like why I would bother to go to AI and do all of this. But as a student, you have competition, you want to do all of this stuff, you want to achieve your dreams, you want to have a good life, you have responsibilities. To balance all of those, and not saying balance, because people say, if you want to get stuff done, you have to actually be unbalanced. True. It's like they say, I've just seen this quote that says, if you want to actually succeed, you have to be unbalanced for a while. And that's how everyone did. Because being balanced is by definition being normal or being average. That's what it means of the balance. It's like you're going to be literally like everyone else. If you want to be exceptional, you have to be fine with being the exception, which is literally what I'm speaking about. So being the exception and getting the unfair advantages. It's like if there's AI that will give me notes and I have lecture and it can do that, I am pretty sure that I will do that. Instead of just me trying to pick up the next big thing and be the next Shakespeare. Just think about it. Pharaohs, about 1,700 years ago, they were using something called papyrus. Now, if you have no clue about what Pyprus is, so this is the most important knowledge that you will get about college that will change completely your life, because it changed mine. 1,700 years ago, pharaohs were using something called Pyprus. What is Pyprus? Pyprus is paper for them. They didn't have the version of paper we have now. They had their versions called Pyprus. How they were they learning? How they were learning? They were literally writing down on Pyprus. Imagine 1,700 years ago with all of the technologies, all of the differences, you're still doing the same thing. Of course you're dumb. You have to use AI. Just like the first people that invented fire were just using fire all the time. It's not like next year I'm not going to use fire. Of course you're going to use it, because it gives you the unfair advantage over the people that don't use it. So you want to use AI, you want to use technologies, you want to use the website, you want to use the programs, you want to use the apps, you want to use every method that is out there that will literally not only buy back your time, but most likely it will be more effective than just you doing the thing. And it has no ideas, no relationship between your knowledge and the grades you get. So might as well get the grades so you make sure that you're gonna pass and get the degree you want, and in terms of knowledge, you're gonna do the way you want. Because simply the educational system is not adapted to anyone. You probably learn from YouTube videos more than you learn from your lecture. Probably you learn from experiences more than you learn from your lecture. Probably you learn by looking than learning by hearing. Probably you learn by doing something rather than just talking about it or hearing about it or writing about it, or you just notes are not your thing. Whatever it is, everybody is different, and this is something that we literally studied in college. But frankly enough, nobody cares. It's just like, okay, this is knowledge that you have to understand, but you're gonna never use it. No, I'm gonna use it. I will decide. It's not about the conditions, it's about me. I will decide. I'm gonna use it. The way you use it, I make my learning curve based and adapted to me, and because I have to get good grade to pass, I'm going to make sure to find a way to actually get the good grade to pass. Whether that means using AI, whether that means using all of the technologies for me to actually prepare, understand, be ready for the exam or the test that will literally grade me from 1 to 10, 20, A, B, C, F, whatever, the same thing. Now you comprehend these principles, but this alone will not help you. It's like, sure, you use AI, whatever. It's like, no. Sure, but without this thing that I'm going to speak about, nothing will make a difference. It's so important, in fact, that I think if there's only one thing that I have to do for the rest of my life in the educational system, it will be this. It will be looking at statistics, not only in public statistics, let's say the public statistics of Oxford, Stanford, etc., or the big universities. I'm going to look at my statistics, and this is something that I'm literally convincing my class to do. I'm going to give you sense. So I'm going to state it. If there's one thing that I have to do for the rest of my life in the educational system, will be to look at statistics, whether it's public statistics from big universities or my statistics. It's something that I'm literally trying to convince my class to do, with trying to gather all of our statistics. I've been convincing them yesterday and today. It doesn't seem that I have a lot of people saying yes with me, but still I know if they do it, we're going to have an unfair advantage. What am I talking about is gathering all the statistics of the entire class. So let's say we are 80 people, we're going to all gather all statistics. It's like what we do, what we don't do, what we think, what we don't think, about how to get the highest grades and what are the methods that we use. Now we're going to see those methods, and also we're going to see what everyone's grade and compare it. Then we're going to see which methods are best. So if someone is taking notes, is he getting better grade than someone who's not taking notes? And if someone is attending lecture, or let's say taking notes in the lecture, is getting better results than someone who does not. And the list goes on. It's really, I'm trying to convince them. It doesn't seem that I have so many people. It's like out of 87, I have few, like one or two that actually texted me about it. But the thing is, I know that the return on investment of this activity, it will be so absurd that they have no clue, right? And I've been explaining to it, and now I find it tricky to explain it to you, because we just don't understand what you're talking about. Explain more. and they spent like 15 minutes in audios. And dude, I don't know if they understood. But the thing is, it's like the statistics will always make you in a better position than anyone else, because you not only do you have data, you have statistics to analyze, evaluate, make decisions, and keep in this loop. Because let's say if I have 15 years of experience in the school system or the educational system, which I have more, I have 16. I will have more statistics. As an example, someone who has 3 years or 4 years or 10 years. And the thing is, how do I assure that I used my statistics the right way? I have to analyze them and see which was the best year in those 16 years. Was it when I was studying all the time, when I was multitasking doing something else, when I was more social, when I was less social, when I was going, let's say, I don't know, like taking notes in lecture, revising and making summaries and watching educational content about what I'm studying, etc. Even using AI or using technologies, not using technologies, etc. And I think that from that analysis, I will have so great of an answer that it will be so absurd not to follow and not to get the grades you want or whatever results you want. Really, it's like you want good grades, you want good knowledge, you want good people, you want relationships. All of this can be literally all traced back and literally made back to one principle, which is having more statistics than anybody else, because simply that's how the world actually works. Now you tell me, okay, now I'm using technology, I'm looking at my statistics and trying to go through the entire process. Now, let's say I do them both. Is that enough? It should be better than not doing any of them. But still, there is 1/3 of an element that I think is just as important, if not more important, than the both combined. Which is the following. If there is one thing that I have to focus on the entire educational system, if I am the owner of the biggest educational system in the entire world, I will do this one thing, which is analyzing the data of everyone and making decisions and making personalized educational system, programs, environments. What does this mean? You have to comprehend that you and your friend and your classmates, everyone is different. What does this mean is that the way you learn, the way you, literally your education, your optimal education is not the optimal education for anyone else. Everyone has a specific educational manner or program that is so good for him that he will get the most benefit out of it in comparison to just doing any program he finds. So what's called the traditional system, or just like the current educational system, is made based on some analytics or some statistics that someone did probably hundreds of years ago and found out that, well, instead of just teaching one by one, if we gather a lot of people in one place and teach them, that will be way better and also will be a better use of resources. Good. Now, if someone is just speaking while someone is using a whiteboard, it will be better. That's why we have whiteboards. And then someone else now we have PowerPoint and we have all the presentations. If you have actually lecture with presentations, it's going to be better. And for some reason, that was it. The entire thing. And all the changes, it's just about minor stuff. Sometimes you have online education, sometimes we don't. We have Zoom calls, whatever. And it depends on what university you're in. And the thing is, imagine all of this technology, and that's what we advanced. We added one whiteboard, and one data show to present. I'm not sure if that's the most luxurious and impressive educational advancements with the technology we have now. You look at computer science. 100 years ago, there was nothing such as computer. There was nothing such as lamps. Okay? Now, the amount of lamps and LEDs in the world is uncountable. There's billions, more than there is people out there. There's computers more than there is people. It's like, just think about the past 100 years when it comes to computer science, cores, rocket science, anything. Now, compared with the educational technology advancements, what we got more? Nothing. We got PowerPoint presentations in lectures. What is the most fundamental? It's like everybody heard this. There's two industries that are so fundamental in every country: education and health. Good. What are we doing to the highest and most important of pillars in the world? So it's not about countries. We're talking about the educational system in the world. So if I own the most important educational worldwide in the world, I will have to use the most advanced technologies out there, whether that be in AI, websites, apps, stuff. I'm going to make it as personalized as humanly possible to every single student. If student is better with audio, I'm going to give him audio. If he's better with video, I'm going to give him video. If he's better with doing stuff, I'm going to give him an apprenticeship, etc. If there is someone who is better, let's say with taking notes, the way you do it is you have to test every student to realize. Now we're not only going to test his knowledge, we're going to test in the first place, who is he? So what are the best? It's like if there is someone who has so much of a PowerPoint, he has an unfair advantage, he might as well just use that. And instead of just thinking or relying upon someone or a student just to know that, we're going to actually help him and get him through a program to know where he actually fits. Not only in whatever options, like is he going to pursue finance or law or whatever. No, but it's like, how will he study what he wants? So now he's studying law. How should he study law? How many hours? What time is it? Etc. These people, I'm pretty sure that even with AI, will be better if they attend lectures than just studying from home. Got it. But there's other people that are just so adapted and they love where we're heading that they will better be learning by AI than learning from teachers. And learning from AI, it doesn't have to be bad. It's really people think that teachers are better because they're more of a reliable source of knowledge based on the past hundreds of years that we've been. If someone is studying the same subjects for, let's say, 10 years, obviously it's going to be better than someone who's not. But now we have AI, artificial intelligence, which literally gives us the knowledge that he can get not only by studying for 7 or 10 years, but literally all of human knowledge combined that is on the internet and available on web. Can AI give it? So should we have teachers? Should we not? That's something to consider. So the way that I said, as I promised, now not only you can be in the educational system, but you can be while maintaining your good life level, and you can continue and actually you can be better by doing the stuff that I told you. And the good thing, you can do it immediately and practice it now. And what you've seen, you can never unseen it. Subscribe.